Though if you take this to its logical conclusion, I mean, all animals just get out there, breed, eat the grass. If your elephants trample the local villages, if you're lions and you're getting old, kill humans instead of gazelles. I mean, is that what you're saying?
No, because what we know is this. Like everybody in the audience, I think we would all recognize that we are sitting here and we all share certain basic fundamental rights. But what happens, of course, is sometimes our rights come into conflict. And so if we have one kidney and 7 people who need it, what do we do in a case like that? It's not we say, well, everybody has a right. We don't know what to do in difficult cases like that. So similarly, if we say that animals have a basic right to be treated with respect, that doesn't mean that it means that we're never going to come in conflict with their rights.
Okay, but would you put all humans ahead of all animals?
What do you mean ahead, I guess?
I mean, if you had a choice, you're in a boat, you know this question,
sure.
You've got a despicable human being
sure.
down one end of the boat, and you've got a very smart dog, your pet for life, up the other end of the boat, and you could save one of them. Which do you save?
I think that is a very difficult question, and I'm not sure I know an answer that's going to give...
but it's not the simple one that you would save the human. It's not that simple. You might save the dog.
Look, if it was it was like the Bert Breathed who does Far Side, the cartoons. I mean, he makes the point of if it was the dog and Hitler, who would you throw over? I mean, I don't think anybody would think twice about throwing Hitler over, would they? Would they? Yeah. But I mean,
if it was Hitler's dog and Hitler, who would you throw? I don't know. Mick is there. Mick Riley, you are actually in the production of meat, isn't that so? Yeah. So
I am. You're very welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
Again, you're looking very healthy for a fellow who hasn't eaten meat for 40 years or whatever.
Yeah. What sort of production are you in, Mick?
I'm breeding pigs and turkeys.
How many pigs and turkeys would you
thousands
turn out every year?
Thousands of them.
Thousands of them?
Well, you have to do that because we make so little money on each of them, you have to have thousands to make a living.
And tell me this, Mick, what is your attitude? I mean, your behaviour, philosophically now, he doesn't hold it against you, but philosophically it's barbaric.
Well, I'm very interested in what he has to say, and I must say you have a very gentle way of putting it across, but I think, quite honestly, it's a mishmash of conflicting ideas. Now, I don't want to get into a sort of a point-for-point debate with you, but to say that foot and mouth was a consequence of factory farming in England is absolute nonsense because, you know, sheep running around a field who are the main carriers, unfortunately, of this blooming plague.
Sure.
But the sheep who are running around the field in England, they cannot be, for any instance, be described as factory farming. So, I mean, you know, that's out of it. Also, I think humans are extremely lucky being the top of the food chain, and we have a choice. But having a choice, we also have responsibilities. Now, I think it's wrong to assume that there's an act of violence committed towards an animal when he or she is being prepared for the food chain. They're reared properly, they're reared humanely, they're treated properly and fed, etc. Because if you don't do that, they're not going to grow properly anyway. And it's not a violent end, it's because the animal has no consciousness like we have. I think that's very important. The gazelle didn't run away from the lion, as Pat was saying, because the gazelle had no consciousness of that this lion is going to have me for breakfast in the morning. The gazelle was just saying, here's a lion, maybe he's going to chase me, get out of his way, he doesn't like the smell of whatever for a while. There's no consciousness on the animal's part. Luckily, we humans have. Now, the other thing is, if we give rights to animals, for instance, they have choice, they can go to discos or, well, they can't vote, like you say, and quite rightly. But if they have, if we bestow some rights on animals, and we say, right, we go down the line to, let's say, dogs and cats and pigs and cattle and sheep, which would be the first ones I think we would go for, which would be terrific. But how the hell do you stop the cat chasing the mouse then? You see, the animals then don't bestow rights on other animals, and there's no respect.
All right,
so
yeah, what about
it'd be
that?
a waste of time, quite
It's a good point, Mick. We're at the top, and you're asking us to bestow rights on these creatures that are down below us in the order of things. But the fox doesn't give the chicken any rights, the cat doesn't give the mouse any rights, or the little bird in the tree. The magpie gives nobody rights, as far as we can figure it out. So why should we be the ones who exercise all the responsibility?
Well, if you think about the human situation, and I appreciate your comments and thank you for the spirit in which they're made, but if you think about the situation, we don't demand reciprocity even within the extended human family. In other words, it is the case that here we are in a situation that you have rights and I have rights, and I'm to respect your rights and you respect my rights. We don't require that all the time of human beings. We don't require of children, for example, that they must respect our rights before we respect their rights.
But do we okay, and that's fair enough, that we don't, sometimes the poor, the undernourished and so on, we look after them and we don't expect them to do anything in exchange.
That's right.
But do we have responsibility to to stop the mouse being killed by the cat? I mean, that is violent. It's what a way to go, being eaten by a cat, or even played with by a cat, not even eaten.
Yeah. I think in the case of predator-prey relationships, that is, in the case where there are natural predators against natural prey, that's a disanalogous situation to ours. In the case of predator-prey relationships, what happens 99% of the time is the prey is able to get away from the predator. I mean, if that were not the case, there would not be any prey left for the predators to go after.
So it's a gamble.
So the point is, that what we have in the predator-prey relationship, or we have individuals who are capable of taking care of themselves without our having to take care of them. So we don't have to intervene in that. But I want to go back to, if I may, to the question about the lifeboat. What do you do in a lifeboat situation? What's important about that is not only asking the question, well, what do you do in an extreme case like that? What do you do in an extreme case like that? For example, suppose you're driving home, your house is on fire, your neighbor's house is on fire, your daughter's in your window and your neighbor's daughter's in the next window, and you can only save one of them. What do you do in a case like that? It seems to me we'd all say, well, you save your daughter, of course. But that doesn't mean we think, well, you have no obligations to your neighbor's daughter, or that somehow she's not on the moral map. And so the point is, what you would do in an extreme case like in the lifeboat, it doesn't transfer to the ordinary case. What do you do today in your life? Because you're not on a lifeboat. You're not an extreme case. You're here and you're in the restaurant and you have a menu in front of you and you can order this or you can order that. That's not a lifeboat situation.
Do I have the boring salad, or do I have the coq au vin?
I hope you have neither, actually. I mean, the point is this. Growing up in a meat and potatoes family like I did, I thought about vegetarianism like this. There was a salad and a baked potato and a steak, and what was left is you took the steak off and you had the salad and the baked potato.
And it's more interesting
But the vegetarian's more interesting than that.
Doherty, you've been